Our mission is on track, but Charlie's walking a fine line with a foot in two worlds.
If I found out about a violent act that they had planned, I would notify my FBI handler, who would in turn notify the police, and they would saturate the area where the crime was going to occur with patrol cars.
The occupation
Department. So really just taking the time to thank him for all he did and asking the public to continue to pray for not just his family, but the entire Milwaukee police family. So what you're looking at right now, you're seeing hundreds of Milwaukee police officers getting ready to start this procession.
Kaylee, thank you. And what we're watching again is just hundreds of officers there getting ready to escort that ambulance that you see there, right there at the center of your screen, which is holding Officer Corder's body. They're going to go from Froedtert Hospital, where they are right now, to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office, which is about 10 minutes away from the hospital and is, of course, where they will be taking him for tonight. And when I say hundreds of officers are there, you're seeing what so many people have described as a family of law enforcement, men and women who put on that badge every day and go out into the line of duty. And of course, this is their worst nightmare, their family's worst nightmare. This is something that nobody in our community ever wants to see. And it's very difficult and emotional to be watching this right now. And we heard from the Milwaukee Police Association's president just a short time ago, who continued to call for prayers from the community. And again, our Jenna Ray is standing by live right now at the medical examiner's office, where this procession is going to be heading. And Jenna, there's already a show of support there at the end of this route as well.
A massive show of support, Ryan. We have dozens of Milwaukee police officers here, as well as Milwaukee firefighters here. Unfortunately, this is a scene that we have seen too many times in the last several years here in Milwaukee. For 22 years in the city of Milwaukee, we went without a line of duty death. This is now the 6th time in 7 years that the Milwaukee Police Department Honor Guard has escorted a fallen officer from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. Now, a member of the Honor Guard will be with Officer Corder until he is buried. So he will not be alone from the time he leaves Froedtert Hospital to the time that he gets here to the medical examiner's office. Again, we're showing you the end of this scene here at the medical examiner's office, where the officer is heading right now.
Jenna, thank you. And we want to go back to the beginning of that route, the beginning of where this procession is about to take off from. And that's at Froedtert Hospital, where we just saw, this escort turn on their lights and they're beginning to leave Froedtert Hospital. Again, this is about a 10-minute drive from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. You're watching as all of these officers, many of them, most of them from the Milwaukee Police Department, but I can imagine that there's other law enforcement agencies involved in this as well, showing up to pay their respects and honor the sacrifice that this 32-year-old police officer made in the line of duty on Thursday night. Kaylee Starl is live there at Froedtert Hospital as this procession gets underway. Kaylee, I'll send it over to you. What are you seeing there?
Ryan, right at this moment, we are seeing that ambulance with Officer Corder's body drive by. We just saw dozens of motorcycles leading the way. We're going to turn that camera around and follow that ambulance. But behind the ambulance, there are dozens of Milwaukee police cars, all with their lights on. Moments ago, we saw all of these officers walk from the ambulance to their cars, some in plain clothes, some in their uniforms. The mood here very somber as they say goodbye to what Chief Norman says was a hero who was doing his job, and it was a job that he loved very much. So you can see the ambulance now starting its route to the medical examiner's office. Shortly, all of these Milwaukee police cars will follow them as they make their way there. The message really from Chief Norman and from the mayor is to continue asking for prayers for this officer who lost his life in the line of duty, both for his family and his Milwaukee police family. And there are many of them out here right now, hundreds waiting to follow his body to the medical examiner's office.
Kaylee, I want to read part of a statement from the Milwaukee Police Association as this procession gets underway. They say that that night, on Thursday night, when Officer Corder was shot, they say that night Officer Corder and his partner did what officers across our city do every day. He stepped up to protect the community despite the enormous risks. This will be his legacy, as it is for every fallen police officer who stood between us and danger. And as we take a live look at this scene just outside of Froedtert Hospital, as that procession is beginning and heading towards the medical examiner's office in downtown Milwaukee, we're seeing the way that this family of law enforcement is coming together to show their respect and to honor that legacy for fallen Officer Kendall Corder. And if you're just joining us again and you're getting caught up to speed on this, the Milwaukee Police Department has announced that one of their officers has died. That officer is 32-year-old Kendall Corder. We know that he had over 6 years of experience on the force before he was shot in what police described as an ambush on Thursday night. And you're watching this procession from Froedtert Hospital, where he had been receiving treatment and where he spent the last several days surrounded by his loved ones and by fellow officers. And they're now bringing him to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office, and that's where he will be for the time being. Kaylee, we're watching all of these squad cars go by, and I mentioned earlier that obviously most of these squad cars are members of the Milwaukee Police Department. Give us a sense of feel for the mood there. I mean, obviously somber. Obviously, this is any member of law enforcement's worst nightmare. But what are you seeing? What are you hearing from people there?
Ryan, it really was quiet for much of the time. We heard remarks from Police Chief Norman, the mayor, and the head of the Milwaukee Police Association, but all of the officers here really just taking in this moment and what it means for them to be here for this occasion. We did also see Officer Kendall Corder's partner, who was also shot and released from the hospital yesterday. He was here in plain clothes. We saw him with a walker and his boot tied up. So that tells you how important it was for him to be here, but also all of the Milwaukee Police Department. Again, we're talking hundreds of officers, really just heads down, very somber, realizing what's going on here.
And, you know, we've heard multiple times from the police chief, from the police association's president, you know, a call for prayers and a call for people to thank officers as you're out and about in the community. We heard some of the officials saying that there's officers in the community tonight that are going to put on that badge and put themselves between us and danger yet again. Kaylee, thank you for your reporting there. We'll check back in soon, but we want to take a live look right now at Watertown Plank Road at 92nd Street. This is a Department of Transportation camera, and you can see there right here on your screen that procession is now making its way, again, from Froedtert Hospital towards the interstate to head to downtown Milwaukee, where Officer Corder is being taken to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. They are going to enter the highway on I-41 South and head towards downtown very shortly, but you can just see that parade, that long line, that procession of squad cars and members of the law enforcement family heading towards the interstate right now. And once they get to the medical examiner's office, it's also very notable that Officer Corder is not going to be left alone. They're going to stick with him the entire time. He'll have an officer with him 24/7 until his funeral. And our Jenna Ray, again, is live outside the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office right now, where there's already a show of support as they wait for that procession to arrive. Jenna, what are you seeing there?
Sorry, Ryan, a little bit hard to hear you. I'm having a little bit of technical issues in my ear here, but as you mentioned, we are at 9th and State. As you can see behind me, this massive American flag hanging right in front of the Milwaukee County Courthouse complex. We've got several Milwaukee firefighters here paying honor and tribute to Officer Corder. We're going to pan down 9th Street so you can see the tremendous amount of presence here from the Milwaukee police officers who are here. It's one of those things that you don't ever want to see this happen, obviously, but Milwaukee specifically has had 2 officer deaths in just a short amount of time, specifically in the line of duty. This has been hard for these officers. A lot of these officers who are here today walking in with their heads down, many of them already having that black stripe covering their Milwaukee police officer badge. That is a sign for end of watch when a police officer dies that the officers put over their badge for a certain amount of time. And Ryan, you talked about this earlier where, these officers are going to have to put on their uniforms and go out tonight. We heard from the assistant police chief late Thursday night who talked about people in the community having a disregard for officers. And I know that that's something that they are thinking about tonight. Again, this flag you're seeing hanging over 9th and State Street as we plan to see Officer Corder's body brought here in just a few minutes.
Wow, Jenna, that flag there, such a symbol of what we're experiencing here as we watch this. You often hear about that partnership between the fire department and the police department, and we're watching them show support right now. Our first responders showing up for each other as family. Many of us can't even imagine what they go through day to day as we take this live look at that procession traveling right now down I-41 south. This is looking at Blue Mound Road as the procession heads towards the medical examiner's office, where that massive American flag and that line of support is waiting for Officer Kendall Corder's body to arrive. Again, many of us can't imagine what these officers go through day to day, and many of us don't even have to think about what they're going through tonight until something as tragic as this happens. And we're watching as this procession makes its way through this area onto I-41. You see the motorcycles right there heading towards downtown. Again, this is not a very long ride. It's about a 10-minute drive. You see the ambulance carrying Officer Corder's body passing right now, followed by a long line of friends, family, and other law enforcement who are making it a point to show their solidarity tonight and to show that they are not going to leave Officer Corder's side. I mentioned that once he gets to the medical examiner's office, they stay with him 24/7 until his funeral. I also want to check back in with our Kaylee Starl right now. She is at Froedtert Hospital, where Officer Corder had been receiving care since Thursday night when he was shot in what police describe an ambush. He had been on life support, we know, and just about an hour and a half ago, less than an hour and a half ago, we learned of his passing. Kaylee, what's the scene like there? What can you tell us?
Ryan, we just saw hundreds of officers drive right here down this road to start that procession that we do keep taking a look at as they transport Officer Corder's body to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. For those that are just joining us, though, this was a very somber moment here at Froedtert Hospital. Hundreds of officers in plainclothes and in uniform, really quiet, really taking in what this moment means for all of them to be gathered here on a Sunday night. We also heard from Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, who got choked up just talking about how much Officer Corder loved this job and was proud to be part of the Milwaukee Police Department. We heard from the head of the Milwaukee Police Association asking for prayers, not just for Officer Corder's family, but for the Milwaukee Police Department family. Like we've been talking about, and what the mayor touched on when he spoke here as well, is that all of these officers take an oath from the beginning to the end. And he emphasized that Officer Corder, took that oath. And all of the officers here really are understanding what that means to take that oath. I do also want to read what the mayor said. He said that Corder died doing what he loved to do, protecting and serving the people of Milwaukee. He can't think of anyone more brave and honorable who stepped in to protect the MPD family and community. So really that's what's happened here, and of course we want to continue to show this procession as it makes its way to the medical examiner.
Our Kaylee Starl live at Froedtert Hospital as we continue to follow this procession for fallen MPD officer Kendall Corder. Another live look from the Department of Transportation cameras right now as that procession makes its way downtown. You can see that law enforcement has some of the entrance and exit ramps blocked off, and you see one motorcycle as More are on their way down right now, and soon you'll see a red ambulance carrying Officer Corder's body. And you know, Kaylee mentioned what the mayor had just said, and we've heard this from the mayor, we've heard this from the police chief and from the police association as well, that this officer is a hero. And as he is laid to rest over the next few days, law enforcement, his family of law enforcement, is going to make sure that he is honored as such, and that his legacy is that of a hero. You're watching that ambulance pass there on the left side of your screen right now. I want to tell you a little bit more about Officer Corder right now. Again, he's a 32-year-old officer, and according to Milwaukee Police Department, he had just over 6 years of experience. And what we know is that he was shot in the arm and in the chest several times on Thursday night after responding to a 911 call for reports of a person armed with a weapon. It happened near 24th and Garfield. And for several days, he had been receiving care at Froedtert Hospital. And just this morning, we learned about his condition of being on life support. And then just in the past hour and a half or so, we learned that he had passed away. And already there are hundreds of police officers, firefighters, and even members of the community, neighbors, showing up at Froedtert Hospital, at the medical examiner's office to pay their respects. And of course, you're watching this procession move along right now towards downtown Milwaukee. This is on I-94 near the Mitchell interchange right now. So they're getting closer to downtown Milwaukee, where again, Officer Corder will head to the medical examiner's office, and where he will be kept until his funeral, and he will not be left alone. The police department will make sure that an officer is with him 24/7, just as a show of respect in the coming days as those plans are made. And we're watching another angle here as that procession makes its way down I-94 right now. A heartbreaking day for the city of Milwaukee. And again, we've heard so many times city leaders and police department leaders asking us in the community to make sure that we are showing our appreciation to the officers who are still going out and putting on that badge and putting themselves in between us and danger. And this is a live look at that procession passing right now on I-94 towards downtown Milwaukee as they head to the medical examiner's office. Kaylee mentioned that there was a second officer who was hit by gunfire on Thursday night, and that officer, 29-year-old Christopher McCrae, survived that shooting, was released from the hospital yesterday, and Kaylee mentioned that he was there. And that goes to show just how dedicated these men and women are to each other and to each other's families, to show up as he's recovering from his own gunshot wounds from this incident on Thursday night. And there you see the motorcycles leading that ambulance with Officer Corder's body inside as they head to downtown Milwaukee. They're heading to the medical examiner's office, and that's where we find our Jenna Ray right now. Jenna, there are dozens of people lining the streets there where you are. What are you hearing and what are you seeing from the people who have shown up? It looks like there's even families there ready to pay their respects.
That's right, Ryan. You're taking a live look right now down 9th Street here at State, right outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse complex. This massive American flag that's been hung by the Milwaukee Fire Department. You're taking a look at firefighters who are standing down 9th Street, and as you continue heading north, you can see Milwaukee police officers lining this entire street. There are people from the public here, possibly family members of other officers. You know, this hits home for a lot of people, even if you're just a citizen in the Milwaukee area, in the city that has no connection to a police officer, you don't have law enforcement in your family. These are the people who put their lives on the line every single day. When you hit those 3 buttons, 911, to call for help, these are the people who show up and put their life on the line for you and for this entire community every single day. No matter the day, no matter the time, they are there. And that's exactly what Officer Kendall Corder was doing Thursday night when he was responding to that call of shots fired in the area of 24th and Garfield. Now, we've talked with several people in the last few days who say nothing but respect for these officers, even people in that neighborhood at 24th and Garfield. I talked to several neighbors on Friday morning, and many of them said that they see crime in that area a lot, but it's something that if it happens and when it happens, they know that Milwaukee police officers are going to show up. And that's exactly what Officer Corder and his partner did on Thursday night. And that's what these officers will continue to do even today. After this, we have officers who are going to go watch their fellow officer be put in the medical examiner's office, as Ryan and Kaylee showed you, in that ambulance traveling from Froedtert here to the medical examiner's office. All these law enforcement officers are going to watch that, but they're going to watch that and they're going to go out and serve this community tonight and the next day and the next week and the next month and the next year. And that's something special about law enforcement officers. Again, these people put their lives on the line every single day for our community, and it shows. There are people here from law enforcement. There are people here from other offices in the city of Milwaukee. You heard from Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson just about a half hour ago. And there's people who are just community members who want to see this process play out. Again, if you're just now joining us, you can see the officers, the firefighters now standing at attention. I believe that we could be seeing some motorcycles coming through. I'm going to just be quiet for the second. Here they come. They're about to go under this massive American flag here at State and 9th Street. This is very somber. This is very emotional. It's emotional for us who are standing out here. All of these law enforcement officers standing at attention, raising their right hand to salute as Officer Corder comes through down 9th Street. Here's the ambulance with Officer Kendall Corder's body inside. Dozens of Milwaukee police officers and firefighters standing at attention, at salute, as their comrade travels in that ambulance into the medical examiner's office.
And Jenna, I just want to echo.
Many people have.
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to echo what the Milwaukee Police Association has said about Officer Corder in this moment, that this is going to be his legacy, as it is for every fallen Milwaukee police officer who stands between us and danger. This is a hero, and our community is mourning, and you can just see in those salutes and on the look on that is Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball there, I believe, and you can see just on the look on their faces that this is a moment where they want to show up and show their respect for Officer Corder as he arrives there at the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office in downtown Milwaukee.
A lot of officers, Ryan, with tears rolling down their face right now. A lot of community members wiping tears away from their eyes. It is very emotional out here, seeing this large presence of law enforcement and the community coming out to support them is incredible. A lot of these officers struggling to stand at attention because this is so emotional. This is one of their very own that they just saw being carried in an ambulance. We know Officer Kendall Corder served for 6 years on the Milwaukee Police Department. He was a brother, a son, a grandson, an uncle, a cousin. We've seen nothing but fantastic remarks from family and friends and community members about this officer. And you can see that support, you can feel that support right here in downtown Milwaukee right now.
And this is also a reminder that, yes, this, of course, is a police officer, a member of the law enforcement family, a member of a force with those people that you see there. But Officer Corder was so much more than just a police officer. And his family and his neighbors are mourning with the rest of the community here tonight. You can sense just how powerful that silence there is as Officer Corder arrives at the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. And if possible, I'd like to also go ahead and just show his photo, show who he is in his uniform, as we watch officers stand in silent salute there. Remembering not just a coworker and what they do for a living, but a friend, a partner, a member of a family of their own, a member of the law enforcement family, which has been talked about so much over the past few days, a community of people who understand each other in a unique way.
That's right, Ryan, and I think you can really feel and see that here. The law enforcement community is very, very tight, especially here in Milwaukee. As we mentioned, they've unfortunately seen 6 deaths in the line of duty within 7 years, and this is not an easy feat for these officers to watch and to deal with. We're seeing several officers walking through 9th Street right now, going to meet the officer's body at the medical examiner's office. It looks like family is walking into the medical examiner's office as well. And Ryan, I just want to point out one more time that a lot of these officers already have that black ribbon over their Milwaukee police officer badges that they wear on their left side of their chest. That black ribbon symbolizes end of watch. When a police officer is killed in the line of duty, that black ribbon goes over the badge, and these officers wear that as a remembrance of the officer who they lost.
And behind his badge is so much more. Let's take a look at Officer Kendall Corder, a 32-year-old Milwaukee police officer who passed away earlier this evening, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. And we're watching that procession from Froedtert Hospital to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. You're watching a line of officers there on one side of your screen who are standing in a silent salute, a silent tribute, as our Jenna Ray continues to cover that end of the procession. But on the left side of your screen, you see Officer Kendall Corder, a 32-year-old with over 6 years of experience on the force. You see him with his family, with his loved ones, a reminder that he didn't just put on a badge and go to work, but that he also went home at the end of the day.
Look as on 9th Street, all of them going to the back of the medical examiner's office. You can see just north of the medical examiner's office, officers lined up there as well. A lot of community members out here paying their tribute and respect to Officer Kendall Corder. You can see all of these officers. There are hundreds of officers and law enforcement officials here. What they're doing right now is they're heading into the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. Many of them will pay respects to the officer in there. The Milwaukee Police Honor Guard will be there. As Ryan mentioned, Officer Corder will not be alone until the time he is buried. So he will have a Milwaukee Police Honor Guard officer with him 24/7 until he is buried. We've got a lot of officers in uniform here, a lot of officers who are in regular clothing, a lot of hugs, a lot of pats on the backs. Milwaukee Fire now making their way in down 9th Street into the medical examiner's office.
As we take a look at the photos of Kendall Corder there, Officer Kendall Corder on the left side of your screen, both in uniform and out of uniform, with his friends and with his family in some of these photos. And you see the gathering of support there on the right side of your screen in the smaller box of all of these law enforcement members gathering. I want to read a little bit about what the police chief, Jeffrey Norman, said at the start of this procession. He says, "At this moment, we are all in pain. We have lost someone who loved his career, who looked forward to being part of the work to impact public safety in our community." Again, Officer Corder is a 32-year-old who passed away after being ambushed on Thursday night in a shooting.
Ryan, we were just trying to get to a new location here. You can see more than 100 law enforcement officers. We've got Milwaukee Police here. We've got fire here, all standing at attention, at salute, honoring Officer Kendall Corder as he is being taken out of the ambulance and into the medical examiner's office.
You can hear how silent it is there right now, and that silence is really stretching across our entire community. The silence louder than words as these members of this community show respect and gratitude.
We can see right now, Ryan, the casket coming out of the ambulance draped in an American flag heading into the medical examiner's office right now. Law enforcement officers dropping their hand to salute, many of them wiping tears away from their eyes, still standing at attention, remembering their brother who was shot and killed in the line of duty. Brian, you mentioned the silence, and it truly is silent, very quiet here. You can hear the honor guard, who is about 50 yards from where I'm standing. You can see them walking into the medical examiner's office right now. You can hear their commands. And again, as we mentioned, that honor guard will be with Officer Corder for the foreseeable future. The honor guard around the clock, 24/7, watching over and protecting Officer Corder before he's buried.
It's quite remarkable how that silence can be so full of emotion and of memory. How that silence is a symbol of a community coming together to say goodbye to a police officer who put everything on the line to protect our community.
Ryan, they just called the end of watch. You can see officers dispersing now, law enforcement dispersing a little bit, talking amongst one another. Some people hugging, again, wiping tears from their eyes as the honor guard brought Officer Kendall Corder into the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. That silence, you talked about respect, Ryan. That's exactly what you could feel and see here outside the medical examiner's office just now. It's nothing but respect for the job that Officer Kendall Corder did, the job that his partner did, the job that the entire Milwaukee Police Officer Association does. the sheriff's office, the firefighters, surrounding law enforcement agencies as well. Officers look like they're gathering again.
And what you can see as we look
Right
at this
outside the
live
medical
outside
examiner's office.
the medical examiner's office is just the unspoken bond that law enforcement has. You're seeing a community of people showing up not only for the fallen police officer, Kendall Corder, but for each other in this incredibly difficult time, united in this moment. It's truly proof that being a member of law enforcement is much more than just a job, but a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family that's formed by oath.
We've got about 50 to 100 Milwaukee police officers and what looks like possibly off-duty officers and their family members, again, gathered around the back of the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. If you're just now joining us, Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Corder was escorted with an American flag draped around his casket into the medical examiner's office. Officers now bowing their heads for a prayer and moment of silence. Officers and family members now putting their caps back on. The Milwaukee Police Chaplain has been involved in this situation with this family, surrounding this family, this department with prayer for the last 3 days now, nearly, from Thursday night all the way until this morning. A big support system for the Milwaukee Police Department, the chaplain. We're going to come down and just see as these officers disperse away from the medical examiner's office. A lot of hugs, a lot of hello, a lot of wiping tears from eyes. For many officers, these officers are scattered across the city with 7 districts here in Milwaukee. These officers don't see each other every day. And it's moments like this where we know that seeing each other and having this camaraderie as colleagues, as police officers, really brings them together. And I know really remembers and escalates why they do this job and how important this job is, not only for them, but for our community as well.
And Jenna, just to kind of piggyback off of what you just said there, we heard calls from the mayor, from the police chief, for us as members of the community, members of the public, to wrap our arms around Milwaukee police officers when we see them out and about in the coming days and weeks. I mean, even in this moment, as all of these officers are gathered, there are others all across the city who are putting themselves in between us and danger right as we speak. And as we take a look at this live scene outside of the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office, we can see that behind every badge is a human being, and you see them rallying together, as we now also see photos of the fallen Milwaukee police officer here on your screen, 32-year-old Kendall Corder. And these photos show him both in uniform doing what he loved to do, what he signed up to do, and what he showed up to do for the city of Milwaukee, but also out of uniform with his loved ones, with his family, with his friends.
That's right, Ryan. And as we ask community members to wrap their arms around these officers, it's important to note, as I mentioned earlier, we talked with neighbors who lived near where this officer was shot, and many of them had said and told me personally that crime is imminent in their community, but they know when it happens, these police officers are going to show up. And when a police officer gets hurt and killed in the line of duty, that's something that sits with that community as well. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of these officers here, they have to go back out on the street tonight, tomorrow, in the coming days. They wear that black ribbon over the badge on their left chest. They wear that badge with honor. They're going to continue to serve the citizens of Milwaukee. When you dial those 3 numbers, 911, these are the people that are going to show up to protect you that you're seeing on your screen right here. I just want to mention again, Ryan, I know that we see officers die in the line of duty across the country, but here in Milwaukee specifically, it's been a really tough time. We went 22 years without a line of duty death. And Officer Kendall Corder is the 6th officer in 7 years that the MPD Honor Guard will escort here and protect until he is buried. 6 officers in 7 years killed in the line of duty here in Milwaukee. It's heartbreaking to see, but it's one of those things that you stand here and you look at these officers and you can tell that that's why they're here, and they're here to protect all of us.
And in this moment, we see them there for each other as well, and that's powerful, as that silence fades and as they begin to talk with one another, hug, handshakes, and make sure that they're okay, checking in on each other as well. This is any police officer or family member of a police officer's worst nightmare.
I know we're going to end our coverage shortly here, Ryan. For people joining us, we are outside the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. The flag has been taken down from State and 9th Street as officers continue to hug and greet each other, say hello, do that as their brother just went into the medical examiner's office, draped in an American flag in his casket. Officer Kendall Corder, he will be remembered as a brother, as a son, as a cousin, as a grandson. All of these officers here to remember him tonight.
Our Jenna Ray reporting live from outside of the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office tonight as we continue to follow this procession for fallen Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Corder. And that concludes this breaking news coverage here on TMJ4 News. I do want to just kind of recap really quickly a little bit about what we know as we just watched that procession for that fallen Milwaukee police officer. He's a 32-year-old police officer with over 6 years of experience with the force. After days of fighting for his life, after being shot in what police describe as an ambush near 24th and Garfield on Thursday night, we know that that brave hero passed away earlier today, and we learned about that news less than 2 hours ago. And you already see the community coming out in force to show their respects as they took his body from Froedtert Hospital to the medical examiner's office. Before we go, we want to hear one last time from Milwaukee's police chief about what's going on here tonight.
At this moment, we all are in pain. We have lost someone who loved his career, who looked forward to being part of the work to impact public safety in our community.
We should also mention that a second police officer who was with Officer Corder was also shot in the foot and in the back. He underwent surgery Friday. You see video on the screen right now of him being released from the hospital yesterday afternoon. That's 29-year-old Officer Christopher McCrae. He's out of the hospital. He is recovering at home. In fact, our Kaylee Starrow mentioned that she actually saw him at this procession tonight, and that just goes to show just how much he supports his brother, who, you know, he was on the force with on Thursday night when they both took on that gunfire. Police say that the suspect here is Tremaine Jones, who opened fire then ran away. He was arrested early Friday morning about 4 miles from where officers were shot. The Milwaukee Police Association has created a fund for the two officers, so if you'd like to help, you can scan a QR code that we should have up on your screen. Otherwise, you can go to tmj4.com right now to help give your contributions. There's the QR code for you. Your contributions will be used to help with emergency aid and long-term recovery for both the officers and their families, of course. And that concludes this breaking news coverage of the procession for fallen Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Corder. We're going to return you to regular programming now, but from all of us here at TMJ4 News, thank you for your trust. I'm Ryan Jenkins. We'll have more coverage coming up tonight at 10, and you can find all the latest information at TMJ4.